Religion has been for many centuries the foundation or one of the main pillars of society in any given culture. We have nowadays several different religions. For example, Christianity. Christianity has different segments in that particular group. For example, we have the Catholics, we have the evangelists,
Evangelists. Uh-huh.
we have the Baptists, and so on and so forth. Now, it caught my attention while talking with a different people. They're belonging to different groups of segments of ramifications of Christianity, that they strongly believe that their faith is the only one. I mean,
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
regardless
yeah.
that they belong to the Christian segment.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure.
So the topic today is going to be my Jesus is better than yours. So tonight we have Ivan Medina. Ivan is my son, and he has been, I would say, exposed in a positive manner and experienced two or three different philosophies or different faiths in Christianity. So
Uh-huh.
Ivan, uh, welcome, and
Thank
thank you
you, thank you.
for, for being with us and helping me on doing this interview. Now, would you like to
Yeah.
start, introducing yourself and tell us about your
Yeah.
your experience on the
Yeah.
religion?
All right. Well, my name is Ivan Medina. Mr. Omar Medina's son. I'm 18 years of age, a freshman in college, and yeah, I'd say exposed, I guess, to three religions, which is Catholicism, the Seventh Day Adventist community, and um, Independent Fundamental Baptists. And yeah, all three of them have been very different experiences, but definitely have their memorable moments. Yeah.
Okay, now can you tell us um, uh, the stages on how and or when you were involved on those three different
Yeah.
of, or ramifications of Christianity?
It's a very yeah, it's a good question. I think in terms of Catholicism, it's all my life because I am Mexican. We are Mexican. So the Mexican culture, especially in Mexico itself, is strongly based on the Catholic religion. So I'd say my whole life has been. It started from since I was born in terms of Catholicism and just growing up with different cultural values of that. In terms of Seventh Day Adventists, that started at an early age too. I think that started at I was 5 because I went to from kindergarten to 8th grade at a Seventh Day Adventist school. So I think those years, that period in time from kindergarten all the way into 8th grade, I'd say I was exposed to the Seventh Day Adventist religion. And finally, fundamental Baptists, I joined their church, their school, their high school for approximately 3 years. I went to their school 2 years, but the whole religion itself probably like three. And that started in sophomore of high school and ended in my junior year. So around 2 school years.
Okay, good, good.
Yeah.
Now, as a personal observation,
Yeah.
as far as the different ramifications in Christianity, I have always believed that the differences among them is based on the ideology, perceptions, and or concepts
Mhm.
of the founders of that of any given segment of Christianity.
Yeah. Hmm.
Your experience, just briefly, or if you want to extend the explanation, that's fine. What difference would you have you seen in the three different uh, segments of ramification of Christianity?
That's very good. I think in terms of how different they are, I think I'll start with Adventists. I think for the Seventh-day Adventist community, they do practice a lot of conservative values. As for me, I'd say the one thing they do have in common, all of these three, is that they practice heavy conservative values. That's for starters. That's something they have in common, but everything is different, I think, because starting with just how they perceive the Bible, like the Adventist community is extremely different from Catholicism and Baptistry. I think for Adventists, they are far more lenient. I think they are, I mean, they're vegetarian. They choose not to eat meat, most of them. And, that's kudos to them. That's great. But I think they're a little bit more lenient towards things. They're a little bit trying to practice more modern and indulge in modern society, as opposed to Catholicism and Baptistry. I think Baptists are extremely extremely conservative, and Catholicism too. But I think Catholicism practices what I've noticed a lot of repetitive prayers. Like if someone died in the family, they'll say the same prayer. In Spanish, it's called the Padre Nuestro. For those who are not familiar, but they will just replay it. And I personally don't agree with that. I think you shouldn't be just saying it off the top of your head, because then it loses its meaning. You say one word and repeat it a million times, it loses its meaning. So it's the same thing. And I think Baptists, I think, yes, they do come up with their own original prayers and stuff, obviously from the heart. But I think Baptists are extremely conservative. I think they are very living an old time religion, and that's what they want to practice, old time religion, and it shows it. They don't wear pants. They wear the ladies, the females will wear a skirt, longer than the knee, lower than the knee, I guess. And I think they will get punished if they do wear pants for the females. So that's just one of many examples of how different lifestyles they have, the three of them.
Okay, so basically, well, we all know that Christianity, or uh, the philosophy of Christianity, is coming from the New Testament, right?
Yeah.
But in essence, it's coming from the New Testament. But in practice, it's more uh, of what you're saying for the Baptists is more like
Yeah.
an Old Testament.
Yeah,
Very rigid,
exactly.
very conservative, and if you don't do this, if you break the rules, you are going to get punished.
Yeah.
That's correct. I mean, that's
Yeah, definitely. I think that represents it pretty well. Yeah.
yeah. Now that you mentioned punishment.
Yeah.
Do, it's hard for me to gather the idea that a human being, regardless whether the person is the leader of the church or whatever, imposes penalties or punishment
Mhm.
for, I will say, non-essential spiritual regulations.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that is physical. It's only
Hmm.
an appearance. I mean, I don't see anything wrong on a lady wearing pants, shorts, uh,
Right.
right? But uh, but going back a little bit, where you mentioned about the little differences among the three of them, I have seen that for the repetition of the prayers is more
Yeah.
like a mantra, like a
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh yeah, I didn't see it
yeah,
like that.
it's
Yeah.
just repeating, repeating, repeating. But as you said, it's not coming from the heart.
Hmm.
Why am I saying this? Because I have witnesses. I have seen people who are very involved in church, and
Hmm.
they're praying, and they are like this: Padre nuestro que estás en los cielos,
Yeah.
the font.
Yeah. Yeah. It loses its meaning. Hmm.
So it loses the meaning of the prayer.
No. Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, the prayer can be like a mantra. That's fine.
Yeah.
it has to be probably uh, absorb and expand from absorb and expand from within,
Yeah.
coming from the heart,
Yeah.
right? Okay, now going back to the three different experiences that you have had. What would you say as far as the view that each of them have for the outside world, including those like me, like myself, who do
Uh,
not practice a religion?
I think, yeah, it's a tough one. I think how they take it, like, for example, I think personally, the best experience I had was probably with the Seventh Day Adventists because, like I said, they try to indulge themselves in modern society and they're very like, we need to, we're in this world.
Mhm.
God put us in this world and we should be a part of it. We should live in the world that we are supposed to live in right now before we die.
Mhm.
And they're just like, oh, like, I'm an Adventist and this is what we practice and you should check it out sometime. And they're super cool about it. Um, they were just extremely cool about it, I think. And yeah, Catholicism, I think, is I think they don't try to convince people either. I think they're just like normal also, but I feel like they're super persistent in a lot of other things um, that I just don't necessarily agree with. But in terms of like just living in the world, they are constantly just trying to get you to say, for example, what you said, the mantras and all that stuff, just like repeating it. And so I don't think I necessarily agree with any of that. And finally, Baptist, I think, yeah, they every Wednesday they would go out to this thing called soul winning, and it's exactly what the name says, winning souls. So you would knock on people's doors and just say, "Listen, this is what we're all about. You need to be saved right here, right now, and then this is our church. Come visit every Sunday." They are very like persistent on trying to get you, and they want to disconnect themselves completely from what is the world. They
Mhm.
want to live basically in their own personal agenda bubble, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this. Let's have uh, the three different philosophies, right?
Hmm.
Catholic, 7 Day Adventists, and Baptists, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm here and I'm, I have to decide which one I'm going to
Okay.
to join, right? And I am an educated person,
Hmm.
professional, professionally working, business owner, and etc.
Hmm.
And at some point, part of the guidelines is to go outside, knock the doors, and try to teach people or to talk people about the Bible.
Right.
I, as a Omar Medina, an educated person, and
Uh-huh.
refuse to do that, saying I'm not gonna do it. This is not for me.
You're not you're not gonna what join any religion or what are you saying? Like,
No, what will be the response? Let's say if I one by one, let's say I go with the Catholics,
yeah.
and part of the structure of the church or
Mhm.
or the philosophy is people knocking the doors. Hey,
Mhm.
I have the great news. God is here.
Right.
Blah, 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 okay. Same with the
Yeah.
Baptists and with the Adventists.
Okay.
And I want to join them, and I say I'm not going to do it.
Mm.
This is not for me. I mean, I'm not going to
Oh,
be.
okay.
I'm an educated person. I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be part of that particular requirement.
Yeah.
So is it for everybody or it's hierarchies? They choose based on your social background, education, maybe race, I don't know, you name it.
Yeah.
They choose who is going to be the foot soldiers and who are going to be behind the doors or in above or in the hierarchy.
I think in terms of targeting an audience for all of these three, um, Catholicism is like very the Catholic Church is extremely powerful. I think they are, especially in Mexico. I think, I've lived a lot of my life here, but I visited many times Mexico, a lot of summers every year, and I've seen that the Catholic Church is extremely powerful, and they are, you know, they got stuff planned behind them. But I think in terms of you saying like, no, I don't want to join you. I don't see them being like equally or even close to persistent as the Baptist church. Because, as I've said before, right now that the Baptist church, that's what they're all about. Adventist, same way. I think they'll just be like, okay, well, you know what, check it out. If you don't want, they won't try to argue you, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
The Baptist church, I think would be, they would be like, um, like, like this is why you're wrong, and like the Bible says this and that, and if you're not saved right now, do this, do that. But the Baptist church targets a certain audience, and that is true. You, for example, professional, working, whatever, if they see that, they'll look at little details just off of physical appearance,
Mhm.
and they will try to grasp you if they see they do care about, I think, your social status. And if they see potential in you that you're not in that social status,
Mhm.
they will raise you to be that. And that's what the Baptist church is all about, of what I've experienced.
Okay.
But the other ones are just, I think, cool, they're chill. So
Well,
yeah.
I apologize if I didn't state my question clearly. Uh,
Oh, my bad.
no, I guess my question is that yes, I'm willing to join, but I'm not gonna be knocking doors.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm not gonna be the foot soldier.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
So that I refuse to do the the dirty work, as I call it.
Okay.
Let's say you're the pastor and say, okay, Omar, yes, you are welcome, blah blah blah. These are the requirements, etc. I mean, I don't know how it works because I have never been, part of you know
Yeah.
an institution. So, and
Yeah.
you tell me, okay, this is and this, and I tell you, okay, everything sounds good, but I'm not going to be knocking doors.
Right.
Simple as that. I'm not going to do it.
Okay. Okay. So your question is,
Every
what would
action of
they say?
the three of them.
I think I lean towards the same answers really, because I think the same way maybe the Catholic Church. That's actually a very good point. I think the Catholic Church would do something about it, or like be like, listen, bro, this is part of the package. It's like shape up or ship out, basically. But they might be like, okay, listen, you can be a part of this, blah, blah, blah. But we strongly recommend you to join in on these activities because it's important. And if you join our church, it's because you believe in this philosophy. I think the Catholic Church would be leaning towards that.
Mhm.
The Adventist Church, I still see them as being the most chill religion that I've been a part of. And I think they would be more towards like, okay, like free will, you do whatever, welcome to our church. I feel like they're so much more welcoming. The Baptist church, as I've said many times, they would kick you out immediately, be like, listen, if you don't want to do this, then get out. Like, yeah. So yeah, for
Now,
sure.
I had that question because uh, I have seen and I have had few encounters with different, people coming knock the door and everything.
Hmm.
And yes, they are very, very persistent on whatever the message they have studied or learned to say, the speech that they learned to say.
Hmm.
I haven't seen anyone that struck me as an educated person or a professional person, just the way of the body language, the mannerism, etc. right? And when I reply with something that is like a curveball for them, they
Hmm.
kind of they
Yeah.
hesitate, and you can
Right.
clearly see that those persons are not well prepared. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I have always had this belief of that they kind of a filter or stereotype, like okay, you are a wealthy person, you are an attorney, you are a judge. Yes, you are not going to be knocking the doors. I don't see a judge joining and being and going knocking doors.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't see a high class attorney joining, let's say, the Baptists and going, knocking doors. I don't see that.
Mm.
I mean, you have been there.
Right.
I might be wrong, but that is my perception.
Hmm.
Even that is a religious philosophy. The human part
Hmm.
plays a very important role, like
Yeah.
filtering the perception of the human part,
Right.
filtering people, stereotyping, and all the stuff.
Right. I think, yeah, I think for the Baptist church, they're really the only, like, out of the three religions that I kind of understand. The Baptist ones, that those are the ones that really go, and like every Wednesday, even like Saturdays, they'll just like knock on people's doors. But you're right. I think I don't see like the pastor or what they call the deacons going out soul winning. That's a good point. I think the heads of that church are definitely not going to soul win. But it starts with the students, I think. That was for me. It starts with the children, teenagers, all that, the students, and then it goes towards the teachers. They also sometimes will go, they'll be as the leaders of the soul winning group. But as a like the pastor and then his, right hand man, the deacons, yeah, no, it's they'll never go out to go soul
Mhm.
winning. The other two, they wouldn't even like go knocking on doors that much, really. So I can't really have a specific statement for them. But for the Baptist, yeah, definitely. Hmm.
Now I understand. I mean, you want to go for medicine school, right?
Hmm. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, and I understand when, by the time you were about to graduate high school from the Baptist, they tried to kind of encourage you to not to pursue your dream, but to join to their
Hmm. Yeah.
religious university.
Right.
Was that for you to become a pastor, or?
That's a good question. I think not. Okay, that's what everyone tells. Like, that's what a lot of people ask me, and what they assume is that they want you to be a pastor, and that's mostly. I mean, yeah, because they kind of do want you to become a part of either a deacon or a pastor of the church, but they do have this college. In this case, it's called Golden State Baptist College, and they offer their own programs like nursing, all this, but it's completely separated. I think what the Baptist church really wants to incorporate is their own version of a utopia, or I guess a dystopian society,
Mhm,
that they are completely separated from the world, and they're like, look, this is our world,
mhm,
and this is what needs to happen. And if you want to study medicine, come to Golden State Baptist College, graduate with a nursing degree, and you become a nurse, but in the Baptist community.
mhm,
That's how they see it. So if you want to pursue business or medicine or something like that, they'll encourage you, but they'll encourage you to join their college to um, live I guess, finish your career, but with them, through them, should I say?
okay. So
But yeah,
basically, they have kind of their own societies, like a
exactly.
society.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty impressive to see compared to even the Catholic Church and Adventists. I see the Baptists as like this their own empire because they have so much money, so many investors, and that's just how they run. It's their own city, so it was pretty impressive, I think.
Okay. You know, I know probably this doesn't happen here in the United States, or if it happens, it's very, very, uh, what's it called, secluded. In Mexico, many years ago, I'm talking about many years ago, there is a company, it's called Comisariato Mazatlan. That is a
Okay.
company that provides all the beverages and food for the airplanes, in the airport, right?
Hmm.
And from the office and above, if you are not a Mormon, you cannot work there.
Mm.
And for the food soldiers, the people in the kitchen, I mean, you can belong whatever religion you want to belong. But as
Yeah.
far as you are working in the office and above, you have to be a Mormon. Otherwise, you will not work there. And
Wow.
and
Yeah.
and I always wonder that now that you mentioned this, that the Baptists they have this micro society.
Yeah.
Do you think that that happens if they have a business and if I go there and apply, I'm going to be right away, not directly, but indirectly excluded from as a candidate.
Hmm.
I mean, do you think that that's possible or does it happen?
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I think it definitely does. I think, yeah, I think the simplest answer would be a simple yes. Hmm.
Yes. Just
Yeah.
they just keep it very, very under the table, under the water.
Under wraps. Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now going back to the topic, my Jesus is better than yours. How do they apply, let's say, the Baptists? I'm using the Baptists now because I understand they are the most rigid, the most conservative,
Yeah.
and as you say, they are very, very persistent.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So how deep in their heart, in their mind, how deep is this idea of my Jesus is better than yours embedded in their head?
Oh, it's extremely embedded. I think they are super conscious and very sure of what they say about precisely that my Jesus is better than yours. I think they do practice that. They do like shade a lot of religions. And they're like see them as pathetic and like, oh please, Catholicism,
Mhm,
Buddhists, what a joke. We are the religion, like we are the right ones.
mhm.
And that's what they truly believe. And, that's to their benefit. Um, that's a matter of perspective. But I think, in my personal opinion, it's pretty dangerous thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, when was that? Several years ago, probably a year, you and I had an interview about
Yeah.
the book I'm writing, which has the same title.
Hmm.
Remember that interview?
I do. Yeah. We were
Yes.
talking about
Remember
similarly to now. Yeah.
exactly. And I remember we were talking about how I think it was the Baptists.
Yeah.
They had this belief that no one can have the gift or the skill to foresee the future.
Uh huh.
Yet they had this person who they see her like a goddess. That they
Right.
I think she even wrote books or uh, guidelines for the church. I think it was the Baptist, right?
It was. I know. Actually, she was Adventist.
Ah, the
Yeah.
Adventist. Okay.
I forgot her name, but yeah, I know
Yes.
exactly who you're talking about.
So how do you marry those concepts, saying, okay, only God can see the future.
Hmm.
However, we have this person who is touched by God and she can see the future.
Yeah.
So how do you marry those two different concepts?
Oh, how do I merge them? I think that's a good question because I think in terms of religion itself and the Bible, it's extremely any religion, and all three of them have a lot of discrepancies, I think,
Yeah.
that they just won't explain. I'll give one example. A lot of the times, my Bible teacher in the Baptist community would say, like, oh, God drank wine that represents his blood. And he's like, but don't drink alcohol, guys. Don't drink wine. He didn't actually drink wine. That don't take it so literally. But then they'll be like, the 10 commandments say this word for word, and God does not, the way he says it in the Bible is exactly word for word. And I recall asking once, like, but wait, if he wants it, if you were not supposed to take it so literally, then why, like, what is the point of God being like, oh, this should be mysterious, these people should decipher it, if it's supposed to be a book
Yeah.
to help you throughout life? I don't really see God being like, this is more of a puzzle, than anything. It's like, no, and that's where the discrepancies come in, and I think
Yeah.
that's the same exact thing for your question. To answer it, I think it's a discrepancy, and they will try and use the Bible to defend their statement. I personally do not know what their statement of defense is. I don't think there is one, but they will probably use the Bible to defend themselves. And again, that's to their benefit, but I don't believe all that.
Yeah.
So,
It is very interesting to see how uh, the same Bible is
mhm.
seen or perceived totally different from the three different groups.
Yeah. Hmm.
You see, and one believes in the Virgin Mary, the other one doesn't. The other
Hmm.
one is claimed she wasn't a virgin, but this, and this, and or one word can be seen or uh, analyzed in in a different concept. One word, one sentence, and they can twist it
Yeah.
to their benefit.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so,
No. Yeah. Hmm.
okay, so yes, it's for this concept about religion is very interesting, and I believe it's a concept. It's a topic that it can cause instead of a union, it causes more division than union,
Yeah.
and this is something that always causes me to not to doubt, but to question. Like, okay, you believe in Jesus, so why you guys are fighting?
Yeah.
It's the same guy.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
why
Exactly.
is his philosophy or his word?
Right.
And we all know that religion it's a very powerful tool and weapon.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very powerful tool and weapon in order to to influence
Right.
society. And now we have seen it. Now with the environment that we are living, political environment, we have seen how religion is playing a an important part as far the influence on people,
Right.
and they are kind of without saying, they are saying, like the topic of this conversation, my Jesus is better than yours.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. That's what they've been practicing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what they're all about.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Ivan. Anything else that you want to add to the conversation?
No, I think that was a very good convo, very good question and answering, and it was good. It was a good experience to sit down and talk with you about it.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to expand more, but sometimes the downloading has, on YouTube has certain capability.
Oh
So
yeah,
yeah, and so that's why I'm gonna try to to keep it short.
yeah, yeah. No,
And
it's all good.
well, thank you, and I wonder if in a few days we can do the same topic, but in the Spanish version for
Yeah,
those
let's do it.
uh,
Yeah,
who prefer the Spanish conversation.
yeah, let's do it. Let's do
Okay,
it.
perfecto.
All
Well,
right.
thank you, and
Thank you.
have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
You too.
Bye.